Hey guys, how's it going? Solo back with another weekly update video, and just as a quick heads up, I did my first live stream on YouTube last night. We had a few viewers, people seemed to enjoy it, I think it went well, so I'm thinking about doing it maybe for an hour once a week on the weekend. I put up a poll in the YouTube community section, so let me know if you prefer Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays, and do you prefer afternoons or the evenings. But it was a pretty cool thing. We had a chance to hang out, do a little bit of technical analysis. I was basically troubleshooting a little bit, but I think we got it all the kinks worked out. So let me know if that's something that you would enjoy doing or tuning into, and let's get on with the video. Hey guys, how's it going? Solo back with another Sunday afternoon update video looking at the week ahead. And we have a very big week this week. I think I saw a statistic that said 30% of the S&P 500 companies have earnings this week. So this is a big week in my opinion because of that. Because we all know that pretty much the tech stocks, these big companies in the S&P 500, the QQQs, they're the ones that have been pretty much been propping up the stock market in my opinion. So if a majority of them have bad earnings and they, tank this week, then I think they're going to take the market with it, right? Because if they're what's been propping up the market, and if they can no longer prop it up, well, they're going to drag the market down with it. So I think overall for the market, this is a big week. But looking at this earnings weekly chart here, you can see there's a lot of big names that have earnings this week. So, if you're a long-time follower of my channel, I'm definitely looking at AMD Tuesday after market close. That's going to be my big play. I already have some covered calls on it, which we can talk about in a few minutes. But, some other notable companies, right? Chegg, Monday after close. I'm going to assume, we'll take a look at Chegg. I'm going to assume Chegg is going to have a good earnings. Because if you're not familiar with Chegg, they're basically like online books and like study materials, I guess you could say. For college campuses and college kids basically. And now that a lot of kids and a lot of students are working from home, it seems like Chegg is getting more and more popular. So I'm assuming that Chegg is going to have a great earnings. Google, right? Alphabet, also Monday after close. Let's see, what else is on Monday? Twilio, I know is another, I believe, a tech play. I'm not too familiar with the company. I don't know much about it. I haven't looked into it much, so I'm not going to really dive too deep into that. Tuesday after close again, Microsoft, another big tech name along with AMD. What else is on Tuesday? 3M, another big company in terms of the illness right now. Pfizer, also a big company in terms of the illness right now. Let's just see. Wednesday, Fastly, another kind of, I want to say a hype company, dare I say meme company. Visa, Teladoc, another play just like Chegg. Teladoc, right? Telemedicine has been very big recently. Gilead, if you saw the news, I want to say 2 days ago now, one of the drugs or the vaccines that Gilead was producing was approved by the FDA for emergency use. So that stock got a huge pump just last week, towards the end of last week. What else? Etsy is kind of being this big, dare I say meme or hype stock as well. But again, online business, right? So Etsy, Fiverr, what else? eBay, right? All these online businesses are probably going to be doing well, I'm assuming. It all depends on how much is priced in. Look at Thursday. Thursday's a big day. Amazon, Apple, Facebook. Talk about three bigger tickers that all have earnings at the same time. Shopify, right? Shopify has just been to the moon. Another online shopping play. Moderna, another illness play, right? Spotify, Penn National Gaming, Carvana, right? All these like online or, off-site, basically not brick and mortar stores, Overstock. A lot of big plays coming up, especially I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Not a lot happening Monday except for Google and Chegg. What's going on Friday? ExxonMobil. I would bet that all these oil companies are probably not doing so well because from the recent debates, they've really been pumping green energy and like EV plays and things. So I'm assuming these oil and gas companies are not going to be doing so well. We have, BP Tuesday on market open. Like I said, Friday is ExxonMobil before market open. Chevron also before market open. ATVI, another illness play. So, big week. I mean, honestly, I can't remember the last time we had a big week like this for earnings. So we'll have to see. I mean, I'm sure Google is going to set the tone earlier in the week as far as big tech stocks like Amazon, Apple, and Facebook. We also have Activision Blizzard Thursday after close. If you remember my videos from a while ago, if you've been a long-time viewer, I traded ATVI off last earnings, and I did really well on them. So let's take a peek at ATVI, see how they're doing. So we'll look at AMD, because I have some plays up on AMD. We'll take a look at Chegg, and we'll take a look at ATVI. But big week this week for earnings. And like I said, I think for the market overall, because we are, I believe, 9 days now from the election. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot of volatility built up because of earnings this week, election volatility. I'm sure we'll get more rumors about the stimulus bill this week as well. So I'm sure that's going to add to some volatility. So if you're an option seller like I am, where you're selling calls and selling puts, this might be a good week to take advantage of some of these juicy premiums. So let's see what's happening. This is just the heat map for Friday, just to see how we close the day on Friday as a quick reminder. Mixture of red and green on the board, but mostly green, I would say. AMD had a big day, right? Because Intel totally got destroyed on earnings. Micron was also down, but big tech was like flat to green. So overall, decent Friday, a good way to end the week. But let's take a look at AMD and see what my positions are, or what my thoughts are, or my plays. So here's my technical analysis on AMD. As we can see, we've had like 7 red days in a row. We finally broke that trend by having a green day Friday. So I drew this new trend line because we were in an upward trend. We kind of broke down out of that trend line and out of that parallel channel and started going down. Looks like, I hope we can confirm it tomorrow, Monday morning, but looks like we're starting another uptrend. So I hope we can maintain that. What I'm going to be looking for is that we have this pink line here, the 50-day moving average, which is right at $82. Then we have this orange line, which is the 21-day moving average at about $82 and some change. So what I need to happen Monday, is I need another green day, and I need us to close ideally above $82. That would be amazing. That way we can confirm that we are now going to use $80 as support, because the past 2 days, Thursday and Friday of last week, we closed below $80. So that's going to be resistance right now. Thankfully, on Friday, we closed above it, but I just want another day of confirmation to prove to myself that yes, now $80 is again support, but I brought these moving averages into light because these are going to be resistance right now. So if we can close tomorrow somewhere up here in, like, let's say the low to mid 82s, that will be great, because then our next area of resistance is going to be about 83, 84. And I mean, if you've missed my videos, I've been kind of preaching about AMD. This is going to be the best opportunity for AMD, I believe, in the short-term future to kind of really show us what it's made of. Because on Tuesday, like I showed you, they have earnings after hours, and then the following day on Wednesday, they're going to reveal their BIG NAVI GPUs. So 2 big catalysts that are back-to-back on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I think whatever high AMD is going to hit in the short term, it's going to happen early to the middle of the week. I then think that basically once the conference starts on Wednesday for their GPU reveal, I think from Wednesday afternoon into Thursday, we'll probably have a little bit of a sell-off on AMD, probably a little bit of profit taking, a little bit of buy the rumor, sell the news. And then I think Friday we might be flat, or we maybe have a little green day, maybe a little bit more of a sell-off. But I think whatever momentum or whatever move AMD is going to do, it's going to do it early on in the week until the middle of the week. I think we're going to peak in the middle of the week. So I have 2 covered calls because I own 200 shares of AMD right now, and I own them I was assigned at $85 a share, and I sold covered calls at $89 about a little over a week ago now. And so I don't think we're going to close Friday at 89 or above. Now, maybe if we just absolutely pump, if AMD crushes earnings and Big Navi crushes NVIDIA's GPUs, maybe we'll pump up to like the high 80s, but I don't think we're going to maintain that level towards the end of the week. So I am fully expecting to let my covered calls expire worthless and collect max profit. I sold them, and I sold 2 of them. I sold them for $250 each. So I have a max profit that I could earn this week of $500 off my AMD covered calls, which would be a great week. And the following Monday, then a week from now, I'm probably going to be selling more covered calls. And I think I'm going to sell them at $85 at my cost basis, because at this point, there's too much volatility in the market that I think is coming up with the election and whatnot, that I do want to get rid of my shares. I kind of got assigned shares. If I zoom out here at 85, it's kind of very at the peak, basically. I did what you don't want to do. I bought in at the peak, basically, right? So now I want to correct my mistake and cash out. I want to sell off my shares, and then I can open up more cash secured puts at lower strike values than 85. So that's my game plan for the next week or two. Like I said, my theory or my price prediction is that we'll peak somewhere in the midweek, and then we'll sell off. I think Friday, end of day, we'll probably close somewhere in the mid 80s. I think my price prediction is going to be 85 end of day Friday. I think maybe we'll get to like 86, 87, maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday, and I think we'll sell off to like 85 Friday. That's my price prediction. Just my opinion, obviously, and also based on some of this TA that I'm seeing. But I'll be curious to see what happens this week. And let's say I told you we'll take a look at Chegg, so let's take a look at Chegg, see how that graph is looking. I haven't looked at Chegg in a long time. I don't know if I don't have any technical analysis up on it, but zooming out here, looks like it's had a pretty decent run up since the illness. You can see it had earnings right here on March of this year, and we had a gigantic gap up off earnings. So let's see what happened to the next earnings. If I zoom in here a little bit. So last earnings, we had a little bit of a sell-off. So they did not beat earnings. They estimated 0.32 and they reported only 0.08. So they missed it by a lot. But we kind of traded flat, really, and then we didn't really have a sell-off until a few days afterwards. But that was really the September sell-off, because that was more of just, I think, the overall market selling off and not necessarily specifically Chegg. But as you can see, ever since like late September, we've been rising again. So it's interesting. I mean, without really getting into technical analysis, maybe I'll do a 10-minute TA on Chegg later tonight. But I think we're gonna have a pullback on Chegg based off earnings. I think even if earnings are good, we'll have a pullback, because just look at this graph. It looks like Chegg likes to trade really closely to this 21-day moving average, the orange line. You can see when we gapped up, we got a little further away from the 21-day MA. Then we had some red days to pull it back closer. And you can see it bouncing off the 21-day MA a lot. But again, it's looking the same pattern where we're trading pretty far away from this 21-day moving average. So I think my prediction is we'll have a little bit of a pullback, towards the 21-day moving average, because this thing is probably, make this a different color, make it orange, probably going to look something like this maybe, if we continue as an overall uptrend. So I'm going to predict that we'll have a little bit of a pullback closer to that moving average. Either, regardless of whether Chegg has good earnings or bad earnings, I think we're going to have a little bit of a pullback just based on the TA. I haven't looked into the company at all or really know much about it aside from what their business is. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I mean, like I said, they're reporting Monday, so we don't have that long to wait. And then the other ticker I said I was going to look at was Activision Blizzard. Let's see. I think I had some preliminary TA that I did a while back on ATVI. I guess it all depends on how Call of Duty, that video game, is doing right now. Let's see. Yeah, I had some preliminary TA. Let's just see what I was thinking back in the day. So I drew Fibonacci levels. I mean, I'm going to delete this just so it's a little less cluttered here. Okay, I can just hide it by doing this. There we go. And you can see I kind of drew this wedge pattern here. It looks like we were in a descending wedge, and it looks like it's held up pretty well, actually. We've kind of topped out at this top trend line. And actually, it's interesting because right now, I'm going to clean up some of these. Actually, I'll leave them because I think they're pertinent. But it looks like right now, we are basically bouncing right off this pink line, which is the 50-day moving average. So I think right now we're range bound between the 50-day moving average at about 80, just shy of $81. And also looks like we're topping out at this descending triangle, which is going to be at about like 80, just shy of $82. So I think we're right now trading between 80 and 82. And I think it's going to be up to earnings to determine what we do, whether we're going to break out of this triangle to the upside, Or are we going to keep trading and bouncing, pinging off both of these levels and just kind of do something like this? So we'll have to wait and see how earnings goes. I think it's going to depend on what earnings does, honestly, for ATVI based on what this chart is doing, because it looks like it's just been kind of like consolidating or just kind of narrowing it down. But it looks like it's preparing for a big move. So let's see what we did last earnings. So last earnings was pretty red, actually. We kind of had we basically had a week of red right after the earnings session. Let's see what happened before. So the other earnings, we had a gap up. So let's see, that earnings, we actually doubled the estimate. The estimate was 0.38. We reported 0.65. The most recent, they still beat it, but not by much. They estimated 0.69. They reported 0.75. So I don't know. I haven't been following the video game industry that well, and I don't know if Call of Duty has been picking up steam or if they released any new updates or kind of game modes or anything. But if not, I'll probably expect something similar to what happened before. Because I think, if I remember correctly, back in May when they reported, I think there was a new update that came out on Call of Duty. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But if there's kind of lackluster news, I'd expect we'll probably sell off. I have an area of support that I drew a long time ago at about $80. The next area of support is 79, and then looks like 77. But just looking at some of this TA right now, I'm wondering if there's another area of support somewhere right around here, because it does look like we've kind of been bottoming out or using that level as support for a while. I mean, you can see a bunch of candles here using like $78 as support. So I think as long as nothing crazy happens with earnings, like if they don't crush the earnings session, I think we'll probably see a pullback down to at least $80, probably closer to $79, I would say. But I think $78 is probably reasonable as well, just because it's still within this descending triangle, and it all depends on how good or how bad their earnings really are. But you can see, I mean, 78 is not that far off. We were trading at 78 in early October and then also in early September. So it's not unreasonable for ATVI to pull back to 78 this week if they don't have awesome earnings. But all right, that's just my trade ideas for this week. Let me know if you disagree or agree. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Make sure you join our Discord server, add me on Twitter, and as always, happy trading.